Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Brothers Take the podcast where three brothers talk, usually gaming each and every week, and we've got a lot of shit to talk about in this week's episode. My name is Chris. I am joined once again by my brothers Adam
Hello.
and Eric.
Hello.
And like I said, yes, we've got a lot of gaming content to cover in this week's episode, and a lot that we also won't get to cover. Because just so much happened, and sometimes there's weeks where nothing happens, and then there's a week where it's like, how about everything? Blah. And it's like, okay, we'll try our best. But obviously, we only ever talk about the stuff that actually catches our eye or catches our interest. And it just so happens a lot of things caught our eye and caught our interest as well this week in the gaming world. So, the World's 2024 esports tournament, League of Legends, whatever that is, have their new anthem, and it just so happens that's something that would be of interest to us, so we will be talking about that. It'll be the first time we've ever talked about League of Legends on the Brothers Take podcast.
Outside of Arcane, but yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, outside of Arcane, of course. Then on that same day, there was a state of play, and there might have been something in that we need to talk about. And then last week as well, on the 26th of September, there was The Last of Us Day, and they showed the teaser for The Last of Us Season 2. So we might have that to talk about. And of course, we want to hear from you guys too. If you guys are watching us on YouTube, make sure you jump down into the comments to share your thoughts on everything we bring up in this week's episode, which will of course be timestamped in the description. So if there's a particular, if you're more here for like The Last of Us, or you're here for the state of play stuff or whatever it is, you could jump straight to that point. But if you want to hear everything, if you're like, actually, I'm interested in all the same stuff you guys are interested in, then stick around for the whole conversation and make sure to share your take down in the comments on YouTube. If you enjoyed the discussion, give us a thumbs up, hit subscribe, ring the notification bell for all future content. And to those who listen to us on audio platforms, you can touch base on social media, Facebook, Instagram, and X at The Brothers Take, again, to give your take on everything we bring up in this week's episode. But without further ado and no more time wasting, let's jump into it. We have a banger of an intro, right? We do. I think we have a banger of an intro.
It's a pretty good intro. It's
It's
all
a
right.
good intro track, but it's not as good as this year's World's 2024 anthem. Featuring Linkin Park. Heavy is the Crown. They launched it the day that we were actually going to see them live. And if you want to hear our thoughts on the entire concert experience, what we thought of the new Linkin Park lineup live, we do have a bonus segment that you can check out now, also on YouTube or on audio platforms, where we go in depth about our experience of the show and what we thought of the new members of the band and stuff. So if you want to check that out, go check that out. But right now, we're just going to talk about that song, which is the new anthem for Worlds. So that's what? That's like an esports event for like League of Legends every year? I didn't even know they do a song every year, but apparently they do.
Yeah, the only ones I've ever heard of was just a song in Beat Saber. That's
Okay.
to do with it. That's as much as I know. But yeah, they usually have some sort of.
Because I'm pretty sure usually it's like Imagine Dragons, I think.
Not usually. I think they had that once, but there's like
Could it be different?
It's a
different
act,
artist every year.
Yeah,
Is
it's a different act every year. Not
I
sure
thought
what
they
it
had,
was last year.
I thought for a few of the songs they had the same band create songs for a couple of them.
I have no idea.
I wouldn't have a clue. I mean, we could do a quick Google and we'd know.
That's ridiculous.
No. Let's speculate.
Well,
Let's speculate
let's-
further.
Answers aren't fun.
But
Always
look,
speculate.
the music video then, which was obviously done at Riot Games, was very much in the art style of Arcane, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, more so than usual League of Legends are done. Their videos are usually done in more CGI.
Okay.
This
So-
was now.
Is it possible? And I know Mike Shinoda has said that he loves the art style to Arcane. So I wonder, is this song going to feature in Arcane Season 2 as well? Because I know that they have a lot of songs on the soundtrack.
That would be cool.
It would be cool, wouldn't it?
I'll let you know when I watch it. Coming
What
out in
did-
November.
What did you think of the music video, Eric?
I really liked it, but I was there was a point when I was watching it because the art style was great. So I was watching it thinking this was to do with Arcane season 2. But as I was watching, I was going, well, I don't recognize any of those characters, so clearly it's not.
Right, yeah, yeah.
But I was watching it going, I'm really confused by this video. Like usually the League of Legends videos, you can somewhat get a grasp of that person's trying to get there and that thing is in its way. And now we're flashing to this person trying to steal that thing, but this yoke gets in the way. You can kind of piece the shit together, right? To piece the story. But in this one, I was like, I don't there's a crown and everyone looks the same and they're all trying to kill each other. I don't know what the hell's going on.
So what I've gathered from people's reactions is, and yeah, I wouldn't have known that either. I thought maybe they were just generic characters or whatever. What I've gathered though is because people were looking at it and like going, "Oh my god, that's such and such." They were naming people. So everyone who's in the video is either a real gamer, like an actual esports player,
Yep.
that's just being turned into sort of a League of Legends character. So like the guy with the glasses, for example, the reason that character has glasses is because that's the identifiable feature of a very particular real person.
Which is why they put so much emphasis then on that.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay,
So,
right.
So League of Legends fans, or like at least fans of like the esports aspect of that,
Yeah.
apparently were like popping off for the holy shit, it's that guy in the video, like. And then, of course, on the other side, you had like Linkin Park fans who were popping off for, holy shit, there's a fucking 15-second scream. You know? So, like, yeah, like two worlds colliding, but also, I think, like, similar fan bases, because I think a lot of people who grew up gaming also grew up with Linkin Park. So, like, it's kind of it's a good marriage, I think.
There's the League of Legends like forums and stuff like that. They're not happy that the band is in the video. They were like, who the fuck are these?
Oh,
like,
okay.
Not who are these, but like they don't deserve to be in there because it's supposed to be just the top players. And then I'm looking
normally not.
I'm looking at it
or-
going, who the fuck are these people? Get them out of my Linkin Park video.
Right. So that just comes from then two different like fan bases, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, like one fan base is like, I'm here for League of Legends, and the other fan base is like, I'm here for Linkin Park. And there's probably a crossover in the middle of people who like both. But I thought it was a cool video in that them having, even though it's very clear to me that I think Riot Games made this video, not Linkin Park. But it's cool for them to have another animated video.
Yeah.
It feels callbacky in a way.
Mm-hmm.
And then the song itself feels very Meteora.
Yeah, this is Faint 2.0.
It's Faint 2.0, yeah, with a Given Up 2.0 scream.
Mm-hmm.
Like it comes close.
Pretty
I
close,
think
yeah.
Chester's scream was 17 seconds, and this one is 15. Like, that's very close.
Which we can confirm she can do live.
She did it live.
We can live, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, she did it live. So yeah, this is an awesome song. I've been playing it a lot on repeat.
Yeah, I've have it on. It's another earworm.
And I think it's an interesting one as well in that clearly, right? Because some people think that like music comes out just like that, like it's just really responsive and it comes out like that. But like songs get written a long time ago. This could have been written fucking like a year, 2 years ago, right? It could have been. I don't know. And yet, it's like I feel like they're really good at like they're always like ahead of the curve or something, or like they're ahead of the times, or they accidentally write a song that becomes like a predictor of the future or something like that. Like not to go on a downer note, but like when they wrote One More Light, and then later on it took on a whole new meaning, right?
Yeah.
So this song they obviously wrote a while back, and yet it comes out now as a perfect almost response to any criticism online. Of like, this is what you asked for. Like you wanted Linkin Park back, but like heavy is the crown. Like it's not easy to fill those shoes. So, and then I'm gonna scream at you, and it's crazy because it's like obviously I don't know if they wrote it like in anticipation of of backlash, or were they writing about something completely different, and now it just works as a natural response to backlash. Or
Yeah,
something.
it could be
But
completely.
That's what I got. That's what I got from it.
Because remember, I don't know where I heard it, but like the Breaking the Habit song being written by Mike for Chester, but turns out that's not really true. That Mike wrote it, and supposedly it's about a friend that he once had, and that friend
Ghosted him
basically.
Yeah, I've heard this story.
And it's like, fucking what? Because when we hear Chester, we hear his struggle, which it also means that for him, and it's like we have like Heavy as a Crown. It means something to Mike for sure. It means something
100%.
completely different to Emily. And then to us, it'll mean a whole new thing. Yeah. And that is what's nice about them, is that they're not like straight cut. Like, this is what our song means, except for like, I mean, Thousand Suns is pretty a little bit more straightforward, I think, in what they're talking about. But so it would be interesting to know like where was their head at when they were like writing these. But for sure, there has to be an element of like, well, we're going to be coming back, and there's a lot of pressure to come back. That has to be in there somewhere.
Yeah, it's just interesting that lyrically it sounds like that, and then the DNA of the song is like the most Linkin Park song they could have written.
Yeah, for sure. Like the use of the synth. The synth is like really fucking good in it.
Yeah, it's deadly.
Like, it's quite very simple, but it's straight out of. There's also like, I would say the song is like a halfway point between Meteora and Minutes to Midnight.
Yeah.
Because there's like a little element of Minutes to Midnight in there, but like it's definitely more like Meteora, like Lost style.
Yeah.
In terms of its production sound and so on. So it's like, it's kind of like Linkin Park at their best, really, in terms of the years and years and years and years and years of experience that they have, on top of this want or drive for whatever reason they have. I'm glad that they have it, but whatever their reason is to go back and recapture that sound or revisit that sound, I hope there's going to be like I know there's LP TV, but I hope we get like a proper making of this record documentary.
Yeah, I'd love that.
I
want to know the story behind all of this. Eric, outside of the like video, how do you feel about the song?
I really like the song. I have not had it on repeat as much as yous have. I've only listened to it, I think, about 3 or 4 times now at this point. But I think
rookie numbers.
Yeah, I know.
I've cleared it.
I need.
Yeah, I put like over 500 hours into that.
It's the only thing.
But yeah, no, like of course I'll listen to it more. I think it's a really good song, and yeah, it does feel like we're going back in time, like when we first listened to Lost, and you're like, oh, I'm transported back to Hybrid Theory and Meteora. This feels very much the same thing. So with the Emptiness Machine, is that you feel like you're being transported back in time.
Yeah, it's like we're getting further and further back, right? Because like the Emptiness Machine almost sounds
New Dividey.
Yeah, like
of that era is
maybe like living things going into minutes, and then this is like minutes going into Meteora. You know, like someday we'll go back to zero, I think, at some point.
Yeah,
because that's where they came from. They came from zero. Oh my god.
I'm really curious what people who maybe weren't necessarily familiar with Linkin Park's discography, who are League of Legends fans, checking out the anthem of this esports event, like what did they think of the song and stuff. So if you're a League of Legends fan, what are your thoughts on this song, and how does it like pair up with, or compare, I should say, to like previous World's anthems? Like, is this kind of what you expect from a World's Anthem, or was this really, because I haven't checked them out before, was this really unusual? Is this like, holy shit, this is very different for a World's Anthem? But I think it's super sick, really good timing, and it just, everything sort of seems to be falling into place in a really natural way, which is fucking weird, and that just seems to happen with Linkin Park.
Is there a category in the Game Awards for a song?
Listen, right, I'm going to say it right now, okay?
They're going to play at the Game Awards.
Linkin Park are going to play at the Game Awards.
Right. That's not my question.
But in terms of the category, listen, right? That's not what you asked me, right? Is there a category for best song? No, there isn't.
There isn't,
But
okay.
he might make it up this year.
He
I
might
don't know.
do, yeah.
He does that, doesn't he? He's like,
So I'm
best
wondering-
TV adaptation, just to give Last
I'm
of Us
wondering,
an
is
award.
it somewhat like obviously it's strategic to team up with, right? But I'm wondering if this like thinking bigger, you know, like as realistically,
Right.
it's Twitch and gaming is like the new platform. That's where you want to reach. That's where your biggest audience is going to be, not fucking radio. Who's listening to that, you know? So
Yeah.
there's definitely like 3D chess going on here, or 4D chess.
Oh yeah, like these guys are very clever in terms of.
I mean 3D chess is just chess
fun
actually.
stuff. Yeah, it is. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just chess.
That's what
Right.
that's what I'm laughing at. Is this... Boy,
Yeah.
man, you play 3D chess? That's fucking wild.
But what if it was 2D chess with 3D graphics? You know what I mean?
Holy fuck! Yeah.
Stop, man. We're breaking
International.
ground here.
But yeah, let us know, guys, what you think of the new song as the anthem for League of Legends this year. And do you think it'll be an Arcane season 2? I think it will. But on the same day as that being launched, we had a state of play.
Mm-hmm.
Dead of it.
State of it. Myself and Eric watched it the following morning because obviously we were at the Linkin Park show, so we weren't going to watch it then or even after that because we were winding down. So we watched it the next morning. Adam, did you get a chance to watch it, or did you
Yeah.
sort of just check out stuff from it? Oh, you did watch it?
I did watch it. Yeah, I saw the announcement of the final game on it, and I sent it to you, and you were like, "Oh, like I want to watch State of Play like entirety." And I was like, "Oh yeah, I forgot that was a thing. Like I forgot that there was a State of Play on."
Well, of course.
And I was just like, yeah, I just saw that. I thought they were just dropping shit because they seem to be doing that now. It's just like, yeah, there's a console. Here's a game.
It is a bit random.
Yeah, they are a
It's
bit
a bit random.
like I don't understand why that console wasn't part of this and what difference would that make?
Yeah.
So yeah, I did watch it. Good. I thought it was a good selection of games there.
Yeah. Eric, what did you think of the state of play?
I thought it was fine. I thought it was grand. Good variety of games. I think better games that'd be a bit more engaging for me. If
Okay,
that makes
cool.
sense.
Yeah.
Because there are a lot of times we watch these showcases and I'm sitting there and there's like 20 games being shown, but they could all be, I don't know, variations of Madden or something. Obviously not, but like that idea where it's just like I don't really.
Yeah.
This showcase is clear not for me, but this one's like there's a bit more there that I was like, that looks interesting. Look at that now.
Was there anything that
Photo-
like really stood out other than the last game?
Photo mode in Stellar Blade, like wow, amazing. Bring it on.
Yeah, that's gonna end up with some NSFW shit.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah.
Honestly, I was like, you know what you're doing. I know you're not using it the way you know that people are going to use it, but you know what you're doing.
I wonder do they have
Yeah.
anything in there to prevent such things?
They should.
I think you should check, Eric, for research.
Yeah.
Report back
Yeah,
to us, sir.
Absolutely. Report back. How much can you use that photo mode? It's only for research purposes.
How much control of that camera? Like, how far can you go in?
You know what I mean? So we want to know.
That and then they did announce the Near Automata
Crossover.
crossover, which I thought was pretty cool. And that's gonna be free, I think. It's like a free.
Oh, is
DLC.
it? I know they said it
Oh
was
no,
DLC.
the
I don't
photo
know if
mode
they
is
said it was
free. Oh no,
or
I
not.
think the other one is. The photo mode is a free
Could you
update.
imagine if they charged for photo mode? That'd be fucking hilarious. People would buy it though.
They fucking
for sure.
would. Fucking would. Well, Stellar Blade featured in the Astrobot DLC.
That
that's
is
coming
true.
as
Oh,
well.
is that what that was?
With the little, and there was the little Hellgast characters as
Helldiver.
well.
Hell divers.
Helldiver.
Yeah.
I was thinking of. I actually for a brief moment thought it was like Killzone.
No, it was a Helldiver, and then it was Eve from Stellar Blade.
Sure, why the
Yeah,
fuck
sure.
would they give Killzone any attention whatsoever?
What are you talking about? Do you have any idea how many obscure references there are in Astrobot? Killzone.
Do you know
should
how much
definitely
this
get a
guy
shout
is
out.
joking with you?
Yeah, I'm just angry that we don't have another Killzone at this
Oh,
stage.
sorry. I my sarcasm meter isn't on. I didn't pick up on that at
I
all.
think what else we had? We had actually speaking of Killzone, which is Gorilla. I think we're getting a remaster of
We are of Horizon Zero Dawn. Looked gorgeous.
Does look gorgeous.
I don't know. I
thought
felt
the-
it was a bit like the PS5 Pro versus PS5 moment here. I'm like, yeah.
Nah, it looks
like,
better. It does look better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, it did.
I'll
look
take your
better.
word on that.
No, definitely. It did. It did. I don't mean like. if this was if they were doing a Last of Us Part 1 on this and this was a full priced game, I
Yeah.
wouldn't be buying it.
It is
I
a
have
full-priced
Horizon Zero Dawn. No, but for a tenner you can upgrade.
Yeah, if you own it originally, yeah.
Yeah, and I do. And also everyone else can just buy the PS4 version for like 20 quid now.
Maybe less.
And just pay the tenner. Do you know what I mean? So like it's not a big like, oh god, to get it that way you have to pay another 70
Sure.
quid like but it's a visual overhaul. It looks good, but like again, it's not necessarily a fuck, I can't wait for that. I need to mark my calendar as to when that's coming. It is coming at the same day, I think, as that new Dragon Age game. So I don't think it's going to get a lot of attention that weekend.
They whoever is running their fucking calendar is blind to every other game.
All right, yeah, Horizon, yeah, it always seems to, because isn't it like the Forbidden West released the same month as Elden Ring, so it was like, well, good luck. And then the first one, I think, released like the same time as like, or the same
God
month
of
as like
War or something, or Sekiro or something like that.
Breath of the Wild, I think.
Oh, Breath of the Wild.
Oh yeah, it
sorry.
was Breath of the Wild. Yeah.
Yeah, so it always gets absolutely like overshadowed by other massive launch. So you're right, Eric. They should definitely check the dates that they're putting their stuff out on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is a remaster. So it's not like as if, you know,
Yeah,
you need to get it out by a certain day.
I wonder what the
fucking-
attention. I mean, are you like going? Oh yeah, this is what we needed. You know.
No, of course not.
No,
Yeah, I
was
wonder
just
how
kinda
much
mentioning-
attention is on it. Like, really? Like, is there anyone? I'm sure there's
I don't
going to be
know.
people, like, but I just mean,
Hey.
Of course.
Horizon's one of
I-
those games that I felt like once I finished it, I'm finished it. Like, it didn't really offer me much afterwards.
True,
Yeah.
but the point I'm making is just that it just so happens that every time.
Yeah,
they're
no, I
releasing
wasn't.
a
I wasn't going
Horizon
against
game-
your point. I was just saying. I was just wondering, like.
No, Adam. I'm going to
Okay, cool.
validate my point.
Yeah, no, your point was great. I liked your point, but
Thanks, Adam.
I just wondering
Your point
about
has
the
gone right on the
announcement. It just seems. It seems a bit odd, you know.
I know what you're saying. I mean, like, as odd as like The Last of Us Part 1 remake was odd. It was like, why? Why are you doing this?
Although that's now free on PlayStation Plus. Just fun little gaming fact. Found it out
It's
today.
not free on PS Plus.
Oh yeah, it's on one of the tiers, isn't it?
It
You gotta
is,
pay extra
yeah.
for it, right?
You have to pay
Yeah.
more.
Do you know what is in the fucking PS Plus free games this month though?
Dead Space.
Or yeah, coming up, right? So there was there was a wrestling game, right? Not interested. If you're interested in it, cool, but not interested. Dead Space remake, which is fucking incredible. And then even scarier than that, Doki Doki Literature Club Plus. That's the
Yep.
other
In which
game.
I do believe the three of us did do an episode on
We did.
the original Doki Doki
Check
Literature
it out,
Club.
just Monica.
I think that
Um,
game broke me actually.
Yeah, that game ruined you.
Yeah,
You're
really
like,
did.
all games suck now.
Yeah, that like
I was
there was
broken by.
a lot of effort for that. Anyway,
I nearly lost sleep because of that game. That,
Yeah,
fucking,
broke Eric in
this
a
is-
different way. It was a very
Yeah.
emotional experience.
that was fucking horrifying. But anyway,
we got a Legacy of Kain remaster announcement. Kind of
As well.
kind of unfortunate that I think that's a series that serves an actual like remake.
Yeah,
That would have been really
I've
nice.
never ever played those games, and anytime I see them, all I think of is our good friend Gary Furlong. He fucking loves those games. We had him on for an episode before, and actually, and he was going on about like the voice acting in that game. But yeah, so I saw that and immediately thought of Gary again. I was like, Gary is gonna love this. He
I
is
believe it
gonna
was
be
Amy Hennig
so happy.
project prior to Uncharted.
Oh, cool. Have you ever played them?
I played a little bit of the first one, but not
What did it play
enough
like?
to
I don't even know that.
Is there anything I could really compare it to? Maybe.
I got a Prince of Persia vibe.
Yeah. Not, but there wasn't really much. Not like parkour or Prince of Persia, but combat-wise, maybe a little bit similar.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's interesting that they've decided to just remaster this one.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. This seems
that probably could have done with a remake more than Last of Us Part 1.
Well, I don't know who owns that one.
Well-
I don't know if it's that's not a Sony studio, is it?
I'd agree with Eric.
But
No, I don't. It didn't have to be PlayStation remake it. It just someone should remake it.
Yeah. No,
Whoever owns that.
someone should. Yeah, I mean that's the series. That's why not. It's old enough
Reboot
that
it even in some way, or like bring it back in a new entry rather than just a remaster.
yeah. There's definitely
would be
this seems to be the generation, isn't it? Just remaster of everything. But even those type of remasters, which is just like straight up more of a upscaled port, like the way the Tomb Raider trilogy was done.
Yeah.
It's not that it's like lazy or anything like that. I'm sure there's like a good bit of work that goes into something like that, but just seems a bit odd that we have such powerful consoles that are now worth over 1,000, and that's what we're playing,
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Eric, I have a couple questions for you. One, we mentioned Dragon Age. Are you excited for the new Dragon Age? As someone who definitely played more Dragon Ages than either me or Adam.
I don't think that was hard. I played one, and you played none.
You played two?
That math adds up.
I played the demo of 2 like multiple times. I played and cleared Inquisition. I played a bit of Dragon Age Origins, and then there was a animated Dragon Age movie that I watched.
So I've played them all.
So I'm
versed. But are you in any way interested in the new one, or?
Interested, sure. Like going to get it day one, probably not.
Right.
I'll wait. I can wait for that one. I mean, the gameplay looked pretty much more dynamic and better than Inquisition, because my biggest issue with Dragon Age Inquisition was just it felt slow.
Yeah.
It felt like I was standing there hacking and slashing at this one enemy, and I was like, this is boring to play.
Right.
So this one looked a bit more dynamic and fast paced, like all the kind of teleporting with the spells, and just feel a bit more locked down, which kind of looked a bit more like Mass Effect. Like I was definitely controlling this character.
Yes, yeah.
And then telling my companions to do other things.
It definitely, to me, looked like a more impressive combat system. Again, not necessarily a game on my radar, but when I played a little bit of Dragon Age Inquisition, it popped off immediately. I was like, fuck this. Just not for me. I know other people love it, but this new one definitely looks closer to the action and a little bit faster paced. That one might not be a day one purchase for you, but I have a feeling that the DLC to Alan Wake 2, The Lake House, coming this October, is probably already downloaded on your system. I don't know.
I've already cleared it.
Was that the voice of the lady from Control?
I don't
trailer?
think so. I think I've seen somewhere, again, this might be wrong, but I think I've seen somewhere where you are playing as an agent of the FCB. No, Federal FBC.
FBC, yeah.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's probably the agent you're playing as. You're not necessarily playing as.
Okay, so it could be a new character, but it is the Federal Bureau of Control.
They're involved, yeah.
Cool. Looks creepy. Releasing in October is a good time. You want some scary games in October. Alan Wake 2 was fantastic. So I still haven't finished that Night Springs DLC thing, which was more of like a fun thing.
It's very fun.
I've yet to go back and finish that, but this one looks more like this is going to be a straight up horror. This isn't going to be like Night Springs was done with a bit of tongue in cheek.
Yes.
This one doesn't look like it's going to be like as kind of comical at all.
Ooh.
No.
But
cool.
There was another horror game I think coming out in October, which just blew both me and Chris away. I don't know if it blew you away, Adam. I cannot remember the name of it, but it was all done in claymation.
The Midnight
Yes.
Walk.
The Midnight Walk looks fucking amazing. It's not coming in October.
Sorry.
I think this coming out next year. They didn't have a date. But yeah, this was. So outside of, obviously we're saving the last game to last on purpose, but this was my favorite game of the showcase.
Same actually. I kind of reminded me of like a really creepy tearaway or what's there's another game. I'm trying to remember the name of it now. I used to play it on the Vita. But quite a simple enough platformer where the star of the show seems to be the artwork. No problem with it. Looks really, really cool. I'd love to know how they did it. because
Yeah.
it just looks technically impressive.
It's a bit like that samurai game that's coming out that I think is also done with like claymation or paper
Oh,
mache
yeah.
animation style. It's done as a side scroller.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, so it looks like they're really starting to lean into. Some companies are starting to lean into how do we make our game not look like every other game? Which
Yeah, because there's only so far you
Which
can
is
go
nice,
with the
yeah.
whole photorealism, uncanny valley stuff, and if
Yeah.
you obsess so much over ray tracing and shit like that, then it's just like, okay, it's a lot of money to go into something that's actually not even that important in the grand scheme of things. This looks like it's hard to know what way the gameplay will be, but it might be just fun enough that, even if it's something like Ico or something like that, it doesn't have to be overly over the top gameplay. But the art style just looks really good. The voice acting in it was really, really good as well. It kind of reminded me of, like, obviously Tim Burton's an obvious one, but Tool.
Yeah, I was just about to say I was reminded of quite a few music videos.
Yeah.
One of Tools being one of them. The band Hurt. They had a music video done in this style as well, and also the band The Used had a music video where some kid went into a storybook and it turned into this kind of shit as well.
Yeah.
So I did get reminded of quite a few music videos of a very particular era. Really creepy looking stuff, awesome artwork, and like you were saying, Adam, the gameplay doesn't have to be all that like, there doesn't have to be much to it really, so long as it's a very immersive experience. I think that game will be sold on how immersive is the experience.
Kind of like Inside or
it kind of reminded me a bit of Little Nightmares. Probably plays similar enough, maybe to that style thing. But it kind of reminded me of the what's the name, Chris? I think you watched it. You weren't overly wowed by it as a story movie, but
yes, what the fuck is it called?
That weird horror claymation fucking thing.
It was stop motion animation, and it was made by your man Phil Tippett, I think is his name, and he was like the guy of like stop motion monsters and stuff like that. And he spent years trying to work on this movie, and it's like a 40-minute movie, and it's not like it's not an entertaining movie more so than it is an impressive movie. Like, it's visually impressive and then also very, very disturbing. Incredibly disturbing. Actually, that's fucking grim dark as fuck to call back to last week's episode. But there's no like story as such, or at least not a very clear story. You have to interpret what it was about.
I know what you're talking about, but I don't know the name of it.
Yeah, I can't take. It's something to do with God. I think there's God in the title somewhere. But anyway, if I can think of it later, I'll put it. But yes, Eric, that's a good shout. And this game is also coming to PSVR 2. Hell no.
Hell yeah.
But,
Banana bread.
That is good, but I wouldn't be able to play it that way.
Speaking of PSVR 2,
yes, Eric.
Fucking Hitman looks class.
Yeah.
Looks like fun. Looks like fun. You could use a frying pan to block bullets.
That looked great.
Yeah, we saw there's three
PSVR 2
titles here, wasn't there?
Yeah, which is nice to see.
Yeah, it is nice to see finally something being shown for it. Yeah. But they're not like... I think PSVR in general is better served to have much more tailored experiences. I think they're trying too hard to say, look, this can also have those, console-like experiences that you're used to. I was like, yeah, sure, but I'd rather not put on the headset to play it. It needs something like Astrobot Rescue Mission, for example, which was fucking brilliant. Moss is another good one. Like, these are very tailored
specifically for the machine.
It's like you need VR to play it, and without the VR, it's like, it just would fall apart. I think RTS games could work really, really good for VR, because you mentioned, like, you can see the map all around you, and you go down as close as you want and start moving people around, as well as we mentioned it before, the light gun shooters is just the fucking obvious one. Like, if you want to,
I cannot believe there's no light gun shooter games coming to VR.
Guerrilla Games, look, Here's an opportunity to do a Killzone. You could do a Killzone
Yeah.
as a light gun game in VR.
Yes.
Come on.
Listen to him. Everyone listen to him.
I
And then
want
do
to
Time
buy
Crisis.
it. I want to buy VR2. You just need to give me a fucking reason, a good reason to buy it. Not these, like, you can also play it here. What's the fucking point in that? I'll just play without it.
Yeah, he has spoken. Pray he does not speak further. There's obviously there was like 20 games shown during the state of play. Different things are going to appeal to different people. I think all of the games looked somewhat good. I don't think anything looked fucking terrible. Like, I don't think I was like going, "What the fuck is that?" Like,
Yeah,
with
that
anything,
was,
everything,
I thought
everything
it was
looked
an alright
like
showcase,
good.
actually.
Was there anything else that caught anyone's eye that anyone wanted to talk about? And the reason I say that is because other people might feel like we've left something out. It might appeal to them. If it does, do let us know.
I thought
But
the
is there
Pearl
anything-
PS5 was a nice color.
Oh yeah, that was one I did comment on that as we were watching it. Me and Eric were watching it. I was going, that could be a blog. I don't know why that's in here, and then the 30th anniversary thing was the blog. Like, I get really confused as to why they sometimes it's like different colored PlayStations can be a blog. A big anniversary celebration thing should probably go on the state of play. Like, I get really confused on their decisions sometimes. So that's all I'm saying. It's like,
That's about it, though.
they spent time doing a whole graphic on different colored PS5s. Wow.
Yeah. You want to get it?
No. But yeah, was there any other games, or do we want to jump into the last game of the showcase?
I think we're happy enough to jump in.
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay. And again, if there was any games that caught your guys' eyes, let us know. Jump down in the comments or touch base on social media. But the last game shown is one that I think we have been waiting for a long time. Long time. Ever since Ghost of Tsushima ended, really. It was like, man, whatever they make next, I'm there. And next year, we are getting their sequel, Ghost of Yotei. Yotei? I could be pronouncing it wrong, and apologies if I am.
Yeah, it's Ghost.
First of all, thoughts on any of it, all of it? Eric?
Ubisoft would probably look at this going, "Oh, for fuck's sake," because they've
also
delayed.
Yes. God, sorry.
They've delayed Shadows into 2025,
Now they have
And
to
it's
compete
like-
against that, yeah.
and now they have to compete against Ghost of Yotei. That's coming out in 2025.
I think they'll be okay only for that Shadows will still come first.
Shadows will still come first, true, but it's still that
But I
element
know what
where
you mean, yeah.
Ghost of Tsushima was like, all right, Ubisoft isn't doing it, we'll do it ourselves.
Mhm.
And now finally they're doing it, and it's like, that's nice. Here's our one. That's a nice
Yeah.
attempt.
Yeah, just the
Because
timing of it is
in
interesting.
the trailer was awesome. The trailer was so good. I think it's very interesting setting it. Well, Jesus, like, was it
300 years.
300 years after the invasion from the Mongols? So we're definitely not playing as Jin Sakai. If he shows up in it, well, what's going on? Right? Definitely not in. Okay.
Yeah.
But you're playing as this other character who's taking revenge on her own country people. So like Ronin are the enemies, or samurai are the enemies of this thing. And it's set around this giant mountain, which I think is a very interesting setting. I should probably look more into what happened in that year around Yotei to see, are they going to make any historical references?
They
but
they put it in a PlayStation blog, which I'll get while you're talking.
and then to show that you get the dual-wield katanas in this. You get to use the weird kami, whatever the fuck they are, the blade with the chains, and then the flintlock weaponry. And I was like, this really is just like, oh, that's nice, Ubisoft, that you have your characters using those weapons. Well, here's our character. One character is going to use all those weapons, so you don't have to like swap between them. But again, knowing what they did with Ghost of Tsushima, I'm looking so forward to this.
And they obviously are introducing guns as well.
Yes, because she has a flintlock, which was a great way to like end the trailer and show the date. to the timing of the flintlock weapon going off.
I'm assuming this will be like late 2025, right?
Probably.
Yeah, probably.
10th of November. I don't know. I'm just going to throw that date out there. I don't know why.
November sounds like a good guess. To be honest to me. To be honest to me. To be honest to you. I'm always honest to me.
Honestly.
Honestly. Adam, your thoughts?
Beautiful looking game.
Yeah.
Look, it's felt based on the music and the way they're setting it up. It feels like it's leaning more into like the spaghetti western kind of feel.
Yes.
More so than the Kurosawa. I know like spaghetti westerns are basically just the western version of a Kurosawa movie, but this feels a lot more in line with like a western movie, nearly the way they're presenting the character. But yeah, a little sad by the announcement. Obviously there's a little bit of controversy surrounding this game at the moment, just based on I honestly couldn't give a fuck about. Yeah, just because it's a female samurai, which is the same controversy that Assassin's Creed is dealing with.
Lads, everyone, calm your tits, like.
But outside of that,
right? Yep. Okay.
It is a little bit sad that I felt like Ghost of Tsushima kind of ended with a, like I didn't feel like Jin's story was concluded, like at all. There was an element of there's a bigger thing going to come now, based on the outcome of that game, and I was very much looking forward to seeing what that was going to be. And not only are we now, if this was just another character, and maybe we could return, and that the paths collide at some point in a future game down the line, but that can't even happen because for some reason they're taking us 300 years away from the first one. That this was one of the games that I was like so looking forward to, but I kind of feel like it's a Last of Us Part 2 kind of attempt at it, and I don't know how I feel about that.
All right. I feel like you found the script to the notes in my head or something, because you said exactly what I was going to say.
Oh.
I thought I was going to be the only one actually coming in. So, look, yes, I am absolutely excited for whatever Sucker Punch make next. I think this looks absolutely gorgeous. I think it looks like it could be just as fun to play as Ghost of Tsushima, which ended up in our top 10 greatest games of all time. We fucking love it, right? I was underwhelmed watching this trailer, personally. And this is one I've been excited for a long time. One of the things that had me underwhelmed was I saw the title before I saw the trailer. And I was already like, they haven't called it Ghost of Tsushima 2. And for some strange reason, even though it could have been Jin Sakai in a new place, it immediately made me think, it's not Jin, is it? And then watching the trailer. And it is that thing of, it's nothing against the new character, who is called Atsu. Yeah. I think she's going to be an awesome character because based on the writing of the previous game, if it's the same writers, I'm sure they could even make a character even better than Jin Sakai. We haven't seen her yet. This could even be a better story. It could be.
Yeah.
Which is why it's not like, I've written it off, blah, cancel. You know what I mean? Not at all. It's just that my initial reaction to being excited for the next Ghost of Tsushima game has come down quite a lot, in that it's like, oh man, I thought there was more Jin Sakai's story to tell. I didn't think his story was done. But we're jumping, like, and even if it was a new character, and it was like, and we have jumped forward a little bit, and Jin is older and he's the sensei, and it's like he's gonna pass the ghost mantle on or something. Like I'm even thinking like there is ways of doing it. But I just feel like the whole 300 year into the future thing to get as far away from Jin as possible almost. Now, I do think there will be Jin Sakai references in the game. In the same way as, do you know when he used to do those Legends quests in Ghost of Tsushima?
Yes.
and it'd be about a legendary samurai,
Yeah.
and he'd get their gear and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I think they'll do that with Jin in this game.
Sure, but let's face it,
Right?
when we were fucking Ezio collecting Altair's shit, we just wanted to be Altair. Like,
Well, and so my other thought was, I was like, okay, so this now makes the Ghost series an anthology series,
right.
right? In that if they do more, every entry will be Ghost of somewhere else, and it's a new ghost,
Yeah.
making it a better version of, sure, but making it another Assassin's Creed series.
Yeah, quite similar. I don't quite understand the 300-year jump.
And I'm not as hot on that.
Yeah.
I would imagine it probably is to do with because the first one is based on the Mongol invasion, they are using historical points to fuel their storytelling, and they obviously just found this historical moment in the around the mountain of Yotei that they feel fits their story. Now, one thing about it is we never see the characters. Oh no, I think we do. Never mind. Because actually, that was one of my theories when I was first watching. I was like, "This is a female, but I haven't seen her eyes." I thought for a second she was going to have blue eyes, but never mind, she doesn't. So I think we do.
Oh,
see her face.
the blue-eyed samurai thing.
I thought they were going to do that.
Oh, okay.
But
I would have loved, even if this was a character we got to play as around the same time, you know, as Jin. I just don't, or like I said, like at some point they could cross paths. I just don't like giving us a character and then we never get to play as them again. Like that was always my gripe with Last of Us Part 2. I think Abby's a grand character. There's nothing really against the character of Abby. I just don't like the fact that I didn't get to play as Joel.
Well, let's hear what Sucker Punch had to say about it, right? So they said there's an intro to this, right, about setting out to make the new Ghost game or whatever, and that they wanted it playing. They wanted the core pillars established Ghost of Tsushima, playing as a wandering warrior in feudal Japan, offering freedom to explore at your own pace and highlighting the beauty of the world. So that's all obviously very present in the trailer.
Yeah.
We also wanted to continue to innovate, to create something fresh but familiar. We looked beyond Jin Sakai's story and the island of Tsushima, and shifted our focus to the idea of the ghost instead. At Sucker Punch, we love origin stories, and we wanted to explore what it could mean to have a new hero wearing a ghost mask and uncovering a new legend. This led us to Ghost of Yotei, a new protagonist, a new story to unfold, and a new region of Japan to explore. There is more to that, but I don't want to spend like the podcast reading to people, right?
Yep.
So that's sort of a bit of context into what their thinking is. To me, it seems like maybe they felt. I wonder if there was drafts. Obviously, there's been a couple of years since Ghost of Tsushima. I wonder if there was drafts of a Jin Sakai Part 2 story, and they could never find a satisfying way to continue it.
Yeah, maybe.
And they just didn't know where to go with him.
Mm-hmm.
And we're just like, do you know what? Let's just tell a whole new story. Because
just seems a bit weird that you would
more interested in that.
Leave the game off then.
With a cliffhanger of all of Japan will hunt you. But the other thing is, there's two different endings to Ghost of Tsushima.
There's.
Right.
So that's the other thing. It's like, which one do we bring forward as the canon ending, or how do we honor both endings?
Wait, which are the two endings?
Lord Shimura dies or Lord Shimura lives.
Okay, doesn't really matter.
He's a key figure in Jin Sakai's life, right?
Yeah, but
like
regardless of which way you go forward with that, right?
You will still be hunted.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Like, Shimura doesn't have to be in it. It could be even people who are fighting in the name of Shimura. It doesn't matter whether he's alive or dead. They're still fighting in his name, trying to hunt you down or whatever. So I don't really see that as problematic. But it just seems a bit strange to me that you would kind of leave that open like that. Even if you wanted to do a DLC to fucking conclude that or something, it just seemed a bit. And a 300-year gap, it's just like.
Let's get as far away from that as possible.
Fucking why? Like, why would you even?
Well, that does. Now that you are mentioning that, it does make me a little worried. Are they going to then go and 300 years later? So now 1900s Japan, where it's like, but samurai or
how many mileage?
really?
How much mileage can you get out of like
other than then just having to go right? Well, now it's the 1400s, and now it's the 1100s, and then it's the 1200s, and it's 1500s, and so on.
To me, I honestly thought that it was going to be like 3 games, a trilogy.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe it will only be 3 games. Like, I mean, after a while, it will get a bit repetitive if it's a different ghost of a different island of Japan. Like, you know, like that will get old if you do too many of them. That is again not to say I want to see more of this game. I'm excited to see more of it. I do think it'll play well. I think it'll be a gorgeous game to look at. I'm interested to learn more of it. But as the initial reveal of the sequel to Ghost of Tsushima that I've been longing to see for a long time, it just wasn't the big wow factor of holy fuck, my most anticipated game of next year.
Yeah.
That I would have liked it to have been personally. But I'm sure others are like fucking crazy stoked for it based on just how talented the team are. And the kind of game they could create. And it really depends on like what you connected with Ghost of Tsushima for. Like if it was just the gameplay and you're looking for more of that gameplay, then I'm sure they're going to deliver that in spades. But if it was the character actually and his arc and his story, like I saw Jin Sakai as like he should be up there with Aloy.
Oh yeah, definitely.
In terms of iconic protagonist. So I wanted to see more of him. I would, and that's again nothing to say anything against this new protagonist. I might feel after playing this game that I'm like she should be PlayStation's mascot. It could be, you know, she could be incredible.
Yeah,
we don't know yet, but just based on, I was slightly underwhelmed. I wasn't underwhelmed. I was whelmed.
Yeah, I was like at first I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. It's just the more I kind of sat with it, I was like, I wasn't blown away by it, and I think that's why I had to sit with it a little bit because I was like, wait, why aren't I?
Why am I not blown away? Because I was like waiting for this.
This is basically the game that would turn it around for me for this gen, but it just it's not. It just seems a bit odd that you would, because as a player, as much as Sucker Punch wants to do origin stories, like how much they love origin stories, as a player I'm not necessarily wanting another origin story. I want to continue the story I was just on. You know, I wouldn't want another Arkham Asylum building up all my shit again. I like the fact that I'm Batman and I have everything. I want to just like go around and use it all in various different situations. Be some fucking annoying if I had to start all again. You know, I know you kind of do in Arkham City, but there's an element of like this dude is still very, very competent and and he just gets new gear as opposed to like I need to get everything again. Because that's one of the annoyances with like God of War 2, and, well actually God of War 2 is fine, but God of War 3, the way they remove everything from you is so like uninteresting. And I understand that maybe they want to avoid that. It's like, oh, you lost everything, you have to start again. It's like, well, no. You may have lost your stuff, but you still have your abilities and maybe... and I always felt that with Ghost of Tsushima, it was less about getting better at stuff and more about building a community around you. If you go onto the mainland, you have no community. So it's about going around and building those connections. And through those connections, you might get better gear.
Mm-hmm.
So I still think there's room to continue Jin, and that's why it's a little bit unfortunate. I think this other character could have come into it eventually.
Yeah. I wanted the Dark Knight to Batman Begins.
Yeah.
We're getting Batman Begins again.
Yeah.
But, in saying that, I also do love me. No, you know what? We're not getting Batman Begins again. Right? We're getting the Batman now. So, sometimes it is like, oh, actually, you know, it is kind of cool to look at the early beginnings of any character and stuff like that. I thought as well, the wolf, it looked like the wolf at the end, maybe a companion. The
Maybe.
way it sort of turned and was standing side by side with the character, looking out in the distance.
Maybe.
So that could be an interesting new element where maybe you have like animal companions beyond like horses. Eric, did you think that too, or?
I thought that too. Yeah, especially she puts the swords down, and that's a charm you can get from the Iki Island DLC, is to
Oh,
get the dogs
yeah.
to join you, the Mongol dogs. So yeah, in this, you could have a wolf as a full companion. Also, it looks like instead of having Jin Sakai has the flute.
Yeah.
It looks like she's gonna have, I think it's a lute or like a guitar type thing.
Yeah,
Uh,
yes, that was on her back, all right. Yeah, so maybe she changes the weather with that.
yeah.
A little
So
bit different.
I mean, for me, I understand where you're coming from. There was room for it. It's I suppose it's the equivalent of you play Metal Gear Solid as Snake, and then all of a sudden you're playing as Raiden, and you're a bit like, well, the hell's going on here? The only difference being,
Or
at
riding
least you can,
300 years later.
yeah, at least with Metal Gear
Yeah,
Solid, you
yeah.
get to go back to Snake eventually. While in this case, we
I know.
can't go
Yeah,
back
yeah,
to Sakai.
yeah.
So I do get that point. That yes, there definitely the story at the end of the first one felt like it was set up to continue it. So it is a bit weird. It's like, okay, we're 300 years later. This is a bit Assassin's Creedy. So now it feels slightly more like Assassin's Creed because now we have to be a new character and it's 300 years later and it's everything like that. But I'd say they'll
Yeah,
if
it didn't bother you as much though. I think you were of the three of us, you were definitely like the most excited. I think.
oh for sure yeah if they keep the same passion that they have for the first one, this will be incredible. I think we'll have just a really
And it
really
could
great
still very
character.
well be like the game of 2025,
Hmm.
Hmm.
like easily. And it could, like I'm not doubting that either. Like where I do have that disappointment of I wanted to see the next chapter of Jin Sakai's story, and this sort of confirms we might never ever get that.
Mm-hmm.
So that is a little bit upsetting to me. That's not to say that after playing this, I might not be like, oh, do you know what? Fuck Jin Sakai. This was the shit. Like it could be even better. Like it could be. So it's not to say that it's like, oh, it's a write off. It's just to say that the initial my my lead up to like my anticipation for the sequel to Ghost of Yotei 2 wasn't met with the same excitement, you know, that I wanted because they went in a direction I wasn't expecting
This could be their version of
or
Ezio.
that I would have done.
You know, for a
Could
lot of
be.
people in the Assassin's Creed world,
Yeah, yeah,
they
yeah,
didn't
could
really
be.
care for Altair. They really didn't connect
Yeah.
with him whatsoever. And Ezio was their guy, and they got multiple Ezio games. This could become that.
Could be.
Yeah.
How would you feel about that, Chris? How would you feel if her story started very similar to how Ezio's story started in Assassin's Creed 2?
Oh, she just wants to be a banker. She just wants to be a musician.
Yeah.
She's got her edge. She's trying to play in pubs and stuff. And then, now look, I am interested in it, and I want to see more of it, and I will be keeping my eye out for Ghost of Yotei. But it just caught me off guard. That's all, more so than anything else. But I want to hear what other people think. If you watch the YouTube, jump down in the comments, share your thoughts, your anticipation levels, your excitement levels for the next Ghost game. Or if you watch this or you listen to this on audio platforms, you can touch base on social media, Facebook, Instagram, and X at The Brothers Take. Just to finish up this week's episode then, we also had The Last of Us Day on Thursday, the 26th of September. I believe 26th of September is always Last of Us Day, because I think in universe, that's the
Outbreak.
day of
is
the
it?
outbreak, right? That's the outbreak day in universe. And to mark that day, they put out the first sort of teaser trailer for Last of Us Season 2.
Mm-hmm.
What did you guys think of the trailer?
Definitely looked like The Last of Us.
Okay.
He's not wrong there.
Yes, it did.
Are we about to do a Morbius review? The infected
were
Present.
present
In it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some acting was had. I look, the trailer I think is going to do more for people who have only seen the show than has done for gamers, because it just kind of just looks like they just reenacted what's in the game, which is grand. Yeah, looks good. I think the set pieces look a little bit more CGI'd than practical. Infected look pretty good in it. They look kind of intense, and I think Abby looks class, and I look forward to seeing this variant of Abby and where that'll go. It'll be really interesting to see how the TV show audience takes this season. And I'm a little bit worried, but just by what I saw in it, the length of the show, because I feel like I always like this. One of my problems with season 1 was that I just felt it was really, really fucking rushed. They could easily have done like 2 seasons out of like the first story, and even more so with part 2. Part 2 is huge. It's a huge game. It was like one of my complaints.
They have
was confirmed
confirmed
massive.
that part 2 is more than one season.
Oh, they have confirmed that. Okay, that's great.
They've confirmed that.
I don't know, but what they've shown here seems to go right up to fucking right up there. You know what I'm saying?
No, from what I saw
Go
from
on.
this trailer, it was mainly just the snow,
No.
and then there was a little bit of
The scars and
scars in Seattle, but it definitely wasn't. Oh,
I definitely I didn't think they want to be
yeah.
showing their hand too much. You see, but
they're holding back a lot.
But there's like a particular character there where he doesn't really show up until quite late in the game.
Right?
Yeah. So I mean, unless you're just moving him way closer to the start, maybe.
I think they're moving him. You don't get an actor like Jeffrey Wright. You know when you're making the game, you maybe only have enough money for one session. But when you're making the show, it's like, oh, give him, we need to give him more screen time.
I think
Maybe
he'll
Jeffrey fucking Wright. Like.
Yeah, he'll kill it as that character. I think he's a fucking brilliant choice. He's a great actor.
Yes. I think
he is.
I hope the structure.
I think he's the perfect casting for that character, isn't he, Eric? Were you not doing a joke? I feel like you're not doing a joke.
No, I wasn't. What the hell are you on about?
He played that character in the game.
Did he?
Yes.
Did he?
Yes.
Did he?
Now I'm doubting myself. I
didn't think he did.
I could have sworn. Did he not?
Look it up, Chris.
I don't think so.
Oh my god, I feel like an idiot.
Anyway,
or I'm gonna make you feel like an idiot.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. Okay, go for it. Anyway, what are you saying, Adam?
I think this could be better structured than the game, and I look forward to seeing what a different structure of the show. I mean, I think it's gonna have to be differently structured, right? You can't do like one season of one character and another season of another character. It's gonna be a bit fucking weird. So this might be the structure that the game should have been.
Well, it looks like Joel has more in this show.
Well, I think that they're being very careful about this trailer.
But as well, they do have an opportunity
to fix things.
Okay. No, but like, and it's kind of unfortunate for the gamers that it happened that way. But now that they are readdressing the story, they do actually have an opportunity to go, okay, maybe we did kind of rush into that, and maybe we should give it a little bit more time.
Yeah. Maybe less flashbacks, maybe.
I actually think, now I found the gameplay of The Last of Us Part 2 like incredibly immersive, moment to moment and stuff, right? But I do think that the story of The Last of Us Part 2 could work better as a TV show than it did as a game. So I actually think the show might tell the story, just the story, better. Whereas I don't think it told the story of the first game as well as the game did. And according to Variety, The Last of Us Season 2 casts Jeffrey Wright as Isaac, reprising his video game role.
Oh, very good.
All right,
I had no idea that was him.
There you go. He's a good actor. And that's why. Sorry, I thought you were doing a joke thing. He's like, he's the perfect casting for that. I was like, yeah. And then when you look confused, I was like, wait a minute. What are we talking about?
I didn't.
So yes, he is the perfect casting for that role.
Okay, and you know why, Chris? Because anytime they get the opportunity, just cast the voice actors if they can fit the role.
Well said, Eric.
No point in getting someone else when it's like, well, you got a perfectly good voice actor to just play the live action role. Just do that.
Well said, Eric.
Thanks, Chris.
So yeah, I thought it was a good trailer. Like as trailers go, like I thought it set a good tone. I thought the choice of song was obviously very fitting. And some of the scenes looked like I in particular the scene that's first of all, yes, is her name Caitlin Dever or whatever her name is that turned around as Abby? I was like, oh, nailed it. That is Abby. Like that look alone, just her turning around. I was like, they've nailed Abby. Like of all the castings they've done for the show so far, apart from Jeffrey Wright, perfect casting for Abby, right? And then I thought the sequence with the fence getting like
that was really good
while she's trying to get out of it and stuff. I was like, oh, that's fucking sick. I hope there's a lot of like intense sequences like that where obviously, yes, we know the story. We're not going to be worried. Does that character make it out of that particular situation? Because we know the outcomes of a lot of these characters. But if they can still kind of grip you into like the drama and the action of it, then that's, good showmaking, really, and I thought the girl playing Dina looked good. Again, only a quick glimpse of her, but
one from Romulus.
Is that who that is?
Yeah, she gives birth to the infant.
Is that who that is?
That's Dora the Explorer.
That's Dora the Explorer.
I did not clock that at all. She's a good choice.
I did not. Yeah,
the scene where Abby looks around, turns her head. Do you reckon that's a earlier point in her life, or is that the pivotal moment that makes Ellie angry?
I don't think it's that point.
Do you think it's the earlier point? Because I'm wondering if they are going to switch things around a bit. Because I feel like you may end up liking the character more if you understood why.
I think they are gonna change it around, and I actually dig that. I think it'll be a few episodes before what kicks off the game happens.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to be end of episode 1, and then we're off to Seattle. I actually don't think that's going to happen. I actually think we might get to episode 4.
I hope so.
That happens.
I think a show like that, and I think it's like a fault with part 1 was that you really need to allow some room to breathe here. You can't just like rush this shit. Tess didn't deserve to go as quickly as she did. You need time with these characters.
Yeah.
Don't get me started on that fucking Tess's death now. My God.
She got shifted to death, man.
Yeah, it does look like though that the infected actually reach from the trailer the town. Like, because in the original they're just they get away essentially. They ride on their horses or something. They just get away and they get to some other abandoned place. When this, from the trailer, there's a massive goddamn horde swarming down. So I would like it if in this one, the infected are in it a lot more than just like 4 episodes.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do need to be a bigger part of it. Because there's a lot less. I think they are a bigger part of it, really, aren't they? The first story seems to be more about like, humans are harder to trust. The second one, less so, just because of where they're kind of placing you. They're kind of putting you in the shoes of what would have been the enemy humans. Now that there are enemy humans, but they kind of come into it a little bit later. The true obstacle is the infected. So I feel like they probably will play a major role because they'd be hopping between the two sides of the characters every so often. You can't.
They also, and this is just an unfortunate reality of what happened in terms of when they were making season 1, when it was greenlit and stuff. and it's like, oh, but that's the story that we love. So it's a shame that that one didn't really get the full treatment it deserves. But they're making, like, season 2 wasn't under COVID restrictions,
Yeah, they'll have a
so they
full
can
reign.
pull off. They can pull off a lot more.
That's
In
true.
reality,
Actually, that is
you know
true.
what I mean? Because like there was that thing of like in season 1, it did feel like sometimes it was like there should be more people here, or there should be more infected here, or there should be more. It did feel like they were a little bit limited.
Yeah.
And I don't think it was a budget thing. I think
No, probably not.
I think it was I think
A
they were
restriction
actually
thing, yeah.
so
Well, the irony of
they-
that, huh?
right, yeah. So now they can go all out, and they have said that there is going to be some rewrites, that it's not going to follow the game directly.
That is a very wise decision.
It is always, and plus it's surely it would make it more interesting for the gamers to watch too, because
Yeah.
there will be that element of, oh, they might surprise me, something different might happen. Like it's not just well, I could just stick on the cutscenes, you know.
Yeah.
You know, you do want to have some surprises, you want some difference, but ultimately, given how they did the first one, which did have a lot of differences, at its core though, it was the same story.
Yeah, I'm sure it'll be the same this time around, but I'm wondering
Yeah.
if some of these rewrites will be in. Well, for one, it's like it kind of has to. You can't follow it the way you did with the game, because even as a game, it wasn't structured well. So they're gonna have to restructure it anyway, I think. But the other reason is to be a little bit more cautious because of the possibility of a backlash to this newer actor for Abby. You want to be a little bit more sensitive to how you represent this person and how that person becomes the face of this character now. You've already dealt with a huge backlash, which was, I don't know how well... I don't think it was really well handled in terms of the responsibility of making sure that she would be looked after. I don't think it was really well handled at all.
Mm-hmm.
So this is an opportunity to make sure that you're going to
Protect the actor.
Well, I know
a little
that
bit
the
of care here.
actor who's playing Abby, I think, nearly always walked around with security.
I'm really curious as well as to like how the conversation went in terms of taking on the role, because I mean they're they had the experience, so they have to be able to say like, look, we think you'd be a great choice for this role, but just before you take it on, just know that the last actor who played this character like got horrendous treatment from people. And some people will already want to give you that treatment before they've even seen you in the role, because they already still feel that way. Like, we've seen how fucking bitter people online can be, like, and like the pure vitriol that can come from some people. Like some of the people never played the game, and it was like just joined the hate train,
Yeah. I think there's two advantages for this situation. One is I don't think anyone got enough, other than if you're a fan of Pedro. I don't think season 1 gives you enough time with the character to really, really fall in love with him the same way that the game did.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one advantage. Second is you've cast what was a fan favorite casting choice for Ellie to be Abby.
Mm-hmm.
So already there's an element of, well, we kind of wanted her as fans, to some capacity involved in this project. So you have that on your side.
Yeah, and I actually think her and Bella will play off each other really well, based on, because I was very impressed with Bella's performance in season 1, and she was not an actor that I was familiar with before that. So when the casting came out, I didn't have any initial excitement, because I just did not know the actor at all. But watching the show, I was very impressed with her. I thought she had serious Ellie energy.
Yeah.
And I do think that they're gonna play off each other really well. I'm really curious. We might not get them in this season. Maybe it'll be like a season 3 thing or something. I'm really curious who's gonna play Lev. Lev is a character I'm super interested in the future. But yeah, Eric, any other thoughts on the trailer?
Not really. I think it does look very well done, and I think the use of song was a good choice. The rendition of
Yeah,
that song that was from the second game.
yeah, yep.
And it does look like
Well,
as well costumes and stuff like that and sets are very close to the game as well. So at least like season one, they are staying as close as possible to the pre-established universe of the game.
yeah, but also they have an opportunity now to do some rewrites that actually might work in the favor of telling the story.
Yeah, which is
From
why I
what
think
they've learned.
that's why I think Joel's going to be in this just a little bit more, especially from how the trailer starts. He's
Right.
sitting in the room with this other woman, and so I think he's going to be in it a bit
Oh yeah,
more.
who the hell is that?
Probably
Oh.
a new character.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a new character.
So it does
Sounds
give
like
it does give an opportunity for more, but you have to remember, Eric, that
like a
we have gotten a trailer to Last of Us Part 2 before where Joel was heavily in the trailer.
Yes, but they're probably not going to make that mistake. Well, we would hope they're not going to make that mistake twice.
They have a new audience here. They may not want to. I mean, there's a lot of people who haven't played the game,
I know, but
so it could be possible.
It
it would also make no sense to piss them off too, though. Like, you know what I mean?
I don't know. They sound like the type of crowd that just loves pissing people off.
I think Pedro will get more than one episode.
Yeah, I think so
Put it
too.
that
I
way.
think so too. You don't want to
I
be.
really do.
Yeah.
I think they're gonna build up to it a lot better than they did with the game.
Yeah. Hopefully. Which is the way you should do it.
It is the way you should do it.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I think then we'll actually be like, oh, but there we go.
It's not that it should never
There
be
we
done.
go. No.
It's just that
but
the
it's
way
how
it
you
was
do
done
It's how you do it.
was perhaps.
And we don't mean physically. We mean.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm curious what other people think. How hyped are people for season 2 of The Last of Us? Did you like the trailer? What are your thoughts on what they should do with it? If you've played the game, have any thoughts on how they might go about adapting it? Is there certain scenes you want to see? Man, down the line, maybe we'll get to see some fucking version of the Rat King, and that could be fucking sick.
Oh, you
I hope to go.
I mean, there's no way you're not going to get that.
You have to go full horror on that one. That should be fucking terrifying. Just as we finish up, again, it was a big week. Tokyo Game Show was on as well, believe it or not. If anyone saw anything from that, we didn't get time to check that out as well. No. If anyone saw anything from that you're like, oh, you guys should check that out, let us know. Like, if the Capcom showcase was actually unreal or Square Enix had something good to show, let us know and we'll go check them out ourselves. Maybe it's something that we'd bring up again next week, or maybe not. In wider nerd culture news, I just want to shout out two things as we finish up. One, the character of Batman has been added to the is it called the Walk of Fame or something like that, where they get a star in the ground? Batman, the character, not an actor, no one else, has been awarded a star.
Has that ever happened before?
I don't know, actually. But just for their cultural importance, Batman has been awarded a star, and I think it's amazing.
That's awesome.
So, congratulations to Batman. And then also, on a sadder note, Dame Maggie Smith passed away. And she was a legendary actor. So that sucks. And it sucks to see more and more. Like a little while ago, we had James Earl Jones go and stuff. And it sucks that we're like, oh, we're going to see all these legendary actors pass. So, R.I.P. Maggie Smith. Sad news. Guys, thank you very much for checking out this week's episode. If you have thoughts on anything that we brought up, whether it was the new World's Anthem, Heavy is the Crown, whether it was the State of Play, or the new Ghost game, Ghost of Yotei, coming next year, how do you feel about the new direction that Sucker Punch are taking? How do you feel about The Last of Us Season 2? How do you feel about Batman getting a star? And send Maggie Smith some love in the comments. If you're watching YouTube, jump down into the comments. If you enjoyed this episode, please give us a thumbs up, hit subscribe, ring the notification bell for future content. And to those who listen on audio platforms, you can touch base on social media, Facebook, Instagram, and X at The Brothers Take. Again, to give your take on anything we brought up in this week's episode. Thank you so much for checking out. We'll be back to talk to you guys next time. As Ellie would say, bye-bye.
Bye bye.